making sure all of my travel equipment is ready to go here. And hello everybody, welcome aboard to my travel vehicle, my home away from home, Little Rascal, my 2016 Dodge ProMaster City van. It's the third travel vehicle I've had. I've had two RVs before. Excited to get out on the road and try to bring people unique perspectives on places that I go. It's something I really enjoy, but that's not the subject of today's video. You know, Nomadland, the movie, came out recently to great acclaim, and it's kind of what I think is like the pinnacle of the celebration of the so-called nomad life, or as Bob Wells would say, it's a pushback against what he and others might consider the corporate lie. You know, the lie about life, meaning you take the best years of your life, your youth, and your healthy years, and you trade them for money to be part of the worker bee world, which I was in and continue to be in for 47 years. And you're missing the boat, because life is out there to be enjoyed. Get yourself a travel vehicle, hit the road, pick up an odd job now and then, whether it's shoveling sugar beets up in North Dakota, sugar beet harvest, or pulling packages for Amazon, or maybe even being a camp host. Hey, that's great stuff. It's good things. But there's a problem with the entire aspect of the glorification of this so-called nomad life. The reason I'm discussing this is Bob Wells published a poll on his channel page, CheapRvliving, which I've happily followed for years. And I've learned a lot from it, and I'm very appreciative for the information that he has shared to make the nomad life more comfortable, and also to share stories of people that have fitted out their vans for amazing travels and adventures. I applaud that. But the issue is, and what really kind of rankles me, is they don't make movies about the people that get up at 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning, go put in a hard day's work, come home, maybe spend time with the family, maybe if they're lucky, catch some TV, and go to bed and do it all over again. Well, I hate to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, these are the building blocks of what I call society. And to just look at the lives like that as people, just simple worker bees that are to be used and then discarded, and then when it comes time to maybe enjoy their lives, they reach a moment where maybe health unfortunately doesn't allow them to travel. And you know, are they suckers? I don't think so. If you think back in the history, and let me just say, this poll that he conducted asked, what is the number one thing that keeps you from pursuing the nomadic life? And far and away, and I answered the poll, and then you get to see the results. Far and away, the overwhelming majority was money or responsibilities, followed by number two, pretty far behind, was health reasons. And I feel sorry for anybody that deals with health issues. They can be debilitating, and it's a lot to deal with, and I feel really bad about that. But getting back to the idea, I was struck by that poll that, yeah, there's people with a sense of responsibility. I mean, who wouldn't want to just have a life, provided you could be somewhat comfortable, where you could just hit the road, see America like some, or just live in the wilderness like a Henry David Thoreau, or get on the road like a Jack Kerouac and absorb all of those experiences, or Arlo Guthrie, play your guitar and roll around the country, you know, and basically live that kind of nomad, off the grid life. The problem with that is, and here's what I see the real issue, it's only been in the last 50, well, we'll say the last century, that in this nation of the United States of America, we had reached a point of prosperity where we could take a hard look at other people in society. We owed a responsibility to the disabled. Up until the 1930s, if you were disabled, you depended on charity, or you had family that took care of you, and then the introduction of Social Security in 1935 and things. In other words, in our prosperity and in our explosive economic success up until about, I would say up until about 1990, there was enough fruits of society and enough money to go around that we could consider, taking care and having state handouts and things, and offering things like unemployment benefits, things that were unheard of and are unheard of in other countries. Things like Medicare, things like food stamp programs. And let me reiterate again: if you're needing them, then you should have them. Okay, that's my opinion. If you're disabled, we should take care of you. But this idea led some people to believe, you can tear away from society, and that somehow, being a worker bee began to be a bad thing to be. Now, people have rebelled and been angry about working conditions for thousands of years. I don't think those people that in China that were digging the Grand Canals with the equivalent of teaspoons in their hand, thousands of miles of canals, would say it was one of the most fulfilling jobs in their life. But they had a job to do, and they had to do it. But I think this idea of this overwhelming prosperity begins to set into people an idea that we should share everything, or that we're so rich that it doesn't matter. But they discount the fact that even as a worker bee, it's not just about the money. It's not just about the money. It's also people that want to raise families, okay, and see next generations, new generations be born. In other words, they're real willing to sacrifice, have children, raise children, take care of children. Other people get a big psychological reward by being part of an organization that is productive and doing things and producing things. And if you're a nomad out there and you're cursing this so-called big lie of being productive in life, you have to stop and ask yourself, when you're promoting those products that make the nomad life more comfortable, the Jackery power units, the 12-volt refrigerators, even the person that trucks in the gasoline, or the people working at the refinery, to make sure that gasoline can be produced, to be put into storage centers where big semis can pull up and take that to a gas pump near you. That takes human effort to do that. Imagine a world where we all just grabbed a bunch of figs and just sought out the nearest shade tree and began sitting under that shade tree reading poetry. What would happen to our world? And why do we think that we're so different in 2021, that we have less of an imperative to be productive than, say, people did 5,000 years ago? As I say, it's only in recent 100 years or so that this supposed glittering wealth of a rich nation gives us the ideas that things should be more equal, that we should all just be able to get things for free. That idea is unheard of in history, and it's an idea that those type of ideas sooner or later fade away because they gut society. Okay, so I guess this is my way of saying that I don't think the corporate life, I don't think being a quote corporate slave, I don't think being a quote ham and egger is a negative thing. I think, in my opinion, it's one of the greatest things that you can be in the world. Sure, you sacrifice your so-called great years, but you do have that satisfaction that you were productive. You can hold your head up high, tell people what you've accomplished in your life, and I think that that's a wonderful aspect of it. They don't make movies, as I was saying. Nomadland's great, and it puts in the young, especially, the idea that just get out there and hit the road and find yourself and find your freedom. I don't know many people that have been nomads that have sustained over the long term without being super productive, i.e. Bob Wells, providing videos, working his tail off, doing a job, teaching people to be more comfortable on the road. Whether you call it that or not, it's a job. It's being productive, and it's answering a need out there. But I think it presents a false fool's gold for especially the young that somehow get trapped into this idea that society owes them everything and they owe nothing in return. Nope, sorry, it doesn't work that way. And I think our nation today is proof positive that we're starting to pay the price for these ideas that some people get in their head. No, they're never going to make a movie praising the glories with great acting and cinematic captures of somebody going into a factory and punching a time clock in beautiful cinematic slow motion with the close-up of the punch hitting. You're not going to see those kind of things with beautiful factory scenes. What you have is people going to work in darkness or buildings and doing the very best they can to make a living, hopeful that, yeah, maybe one day the reward will come. And for a lot of people, it does come. And this is the thing that's not discussed. The assumption is everybody that quote, bought into this corporate lie is miserable. They're not. Okay? And like I say, there'll never be a movie made about it, but we know in our hearts that it is the truth. A very interesting topic, and one that bears a lot of discussion and consideration apart from things like a movie. We're talking about the very roots of civilization and building upon building and moving civilization forward. It's not for one person to derail or 1,000 people to derail the course of evolution and civilization. It doesn't work that way. There's no animal in the animal kingdom that just sits around and waits for its dinner to drop in its lap. Okay? Every living creature has to go out there and gather, hunt, forage, feed itself, take care of itself. So why should we be any different? So I know I'm going to enjoy my travels on the road. Yeah, I worked my 47 years and I continue to work, and I feel proud. I feel extremely satisfied that I've been a strong contributor to society. So I go forth, okay, I might pass away tomorrow, who knows, but it doesn't take away from the great feeling that I have as someone that contributed to move society forward. Well, that's it for today. Your comments are welcome down below. I'm sure some people will take a great issue, and I'll be tagged as a worker bee or whatever. And others of you will understand exactly what I'm saying, the aspects of living what I call the productive, ham and egging life can have so many of its own rewards. So, all right, well, thanks for watching, and thumbs up are appreciated. Thanks, everybody.